Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and today we're going to take a closer look at recent sales for loose complete figures. I got a couple of die-cast sales, some 12-inch figures, lots of last 17, and a couple of bootlegs that I want to start with. So let's go ahead and dig in. The first one is what I think is the third generation Polish bootleg Darth Vader. He's got man hands. He's got some big old hands on him, but that's a pretty great looking figure, and it included the original vintage cape. So this is one I have in my collection without the cape, but this one was very tempting, and it did sell at $180 plus $8 shipping. So about right, maybe a little high, but you know, it was in pretty mint condition. But this is the one I want to talk more about, okay? Because it had a lot of interesting discussion on Facebook, particularly in the bootleg group. So this is an unpainted third generation, probably overstock Boba Fett Polish bootleg. And it included what appeared to look like the original unused cardback. But this was a fake cardback, according to the bootleg experts. It even had some kind of like fake stamp on the back to make it look older. And all of the bootleg experts on in the group said that this was a fake. It was a fake. It was not a color that I recognized. And it was missing some stars kind of in the upper corner up here by the Y-wing. And most of these are kind of like red and black. And this one had kind of a green motif. And the seller was made aware that this was very, very likely a fake cardback. No mention of that was in the description. So it is the third generation Polish bootleg unpainted. So that looks legit to me. I don't see any signs that this is like a 3D printed fake or anything like that. I don't know what that weapon is. That weapon does not look like any third generation Polish bootleg weapon to me. The figure itself looked pretty good though. Could it be a fake? Yes. Could it be repainted? Yes. All of that could be possible. It does have some weird texture issues on the helmet there that makes me think that it could have been spray painted like a gray color. So all of that being said, this one was listed in an auction and it did sell for $878 on 2 bids. But I think from what I read online, he was banned. Whoever the seller was banned from a number of different groups. I think he tried the deal or no deal group for this item. Obviously the Facebook bootleg group, and he was made aware that it was fake. No mention of it was made in the eBay listing. So take that for what you will. And again, you know, this figure very well could have been repainted. It's just hard to tell. It just has some weird texture issues that I don't have on my particular third gen Polish bootleg unpainted overstock Boba Fett. So, you know, it was just kind of a questionable item all the way around, in my opinion. So just be careful out there and make sure to seek some additional guidance. But, you know, here's a good look at the figure. And I mean, to me, it looks like it's been repainted. That's the way it looks to me. If you happen to be the person that bought it, you'd probably be a really good idea to join the Facebook bootleg groups to get their opinion on it. But it doesn't look like it's unpainted to me. It looks like it's been repainted a gray color. So very, very questionable item. I tend to think it's all the way around has been doctored. So very, very tricky item there. On to the license figures. Here we've got a blue snaggletooth that was in really good shape, and you know, it did have some discoloration to the torso, as is common with snaggletooth, but those boots were in pretty great shape, just light scuffs to it. But this is probably like an 80 grade would be my estimation on this one. Very shiny photos, very shiny, but you know, with the very light wear to the boots and given the discoloration to the torso, probably at best about an 80, but a very nice figure. That one was the no toe dent version, I believe. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like the no toe dent version to me, just looking at it. Usually there's a little dent right there on this toe, on that toe right there. But no dents on that one, but a very clean looking figure. $501 in an auction on that one. Here was a cool item. This is the Sears cardbacks. These are Sears exclusive for Canada. And they were like shrink wrapped. The figures were shrink wrapped onto these really interesting perforated cardbacks. Very, very pricey if you can find one of these still shrink wrapped. And they made them for Dengar, for, I think, the Cloud Car palette. Don't quote me on that. Ugnaught. And Luke Hoth was another one. maybe Lando Calrissian Bespin. I don't know. I'm just going on memory, so my memory is a little spotty as it relates to these Kenner Canada Sears exclusives. But, you know, really this one sold for just the card back, right? It sold for $370, and you're paying for that card back. And you can kind of see the shrink wrap on that and the damage on it. But it's a shame that it wasn't still on the card, because that would be a multi thousands of dollar item. You can see the French language in the upper right-hand corner of the card back. And let's see if they showed the back. Here's the back of it. So it's a very weird perforated card back that was only available through Sears up in Canada. So that one sold for $370. And again, you know, Dengar's worth $5. The card back is worth $365. So pretty cool to see that one sell, though. Two different die-cast tie bombers sold. This one sold for $705 and change. Lots of edge wear, you know, wear to around the turbines on the back of the die-cast tie bomber. And then this one sold for $710 in an auction. Very similar condition. Lots of kind of etch, you know, flaking to the paint on this one. So neither one were perfect. They were probably both about a 70 grade, but they both still sold for $705 to about $711. I've got some 12-inch figures that sold. This one was a 12-inch complete Princess Leia with her little comb, and I guess that's a mirror. I don't know. That one was in pretty good condition, though, and was listed for $225. Best offer accepted. I forgot to look up what it sold for. Probably about $200 or so. And here was Boba Fett. This one was advertised as complete. It looks to be in complete, very good condition with the Wookiee braids and the cape. That one sold for $342 in an auction on 31 bids. Next up is the Jawa, the 8-inch Jawa, and that one sold over in the UK for 113 pounds, which is 142 US dollars on two bids on that one. Pretty good shape for that one. Next up was Darth Vader, and it was advertised as near mint sealed, ? That means it's probably not sealed. So, you know, it had a tear right here at the bottom of the box there, but it did include the box and the window on it. And, you know, just some light wear to it. It's unfortunate it had that tear on the box, but otherwise complete. And, you know, here it is. It says sealed ? And then they show it open. I don't understand what goes through sellers' minds sometimes. It's clearly not sealed. It might be still attached to that little, you know, zip tie, but it's not a sealed item. So, and it sold appropriately for $310. A sealed example would have gone for quite a bit more, given the box was in pretty good condition other than the tear on that one. So $310 for the Vader. Here was the R2-D2 complete with those two Death Star plans on the inside there. That one sold for $175. So that's all the 12-inch line. I just had some 12-inch line that all sold, and I had a couple of requests to kind of cover some recent sales, but that gives you an idea of where they're going for in near mint to near mint plus condition, maybe near mint minus for the R2, given the yellowing to the body on that one. Next up, some 3 3/4 inch figures. This was a beautiful Palatoy, no COO, brown-haired Luke Farm Boy. Really clean condition. That one sold for 127 pounds, which is 160 US dollars. Pretty good deal on that one, just given how clean that one was. Very nice condition for that one. Same seller also had the Princess Leia, and that included the correct weapon. That one sold for 129 pounds, which is about 162 US dollars. Very light kind of yellowing maybe to the body on that one, but very faint. Probably about 80 or 80 plus grade condition on that one. R2-D2, again, very light yellowing to the sticker on that one. This one was the solid dark blue paint apps on the dome. That one sold for 68 pounds, which is $85. I thought that was a really good deal. Obviously, the dome is not in the dome was in pretty perfect condition. It was just the sticker had a little bit of yellowing to it, but even still, I thought that was a really good price for the dark blue dome R2-D2. Here was the Taiwan Boba Fett with the correct V5 blaster. Really nice condition on that one. That one would grade very highly if you ask me. That one sold for 90 pounds, which is 114 US dollars in an auction on 21 bids. And then finally, the same seller also had Barada, and this one did have some wear, it looked like, to the hand there. And so I was a little surprised that it sold for the price it did. So I don't know why it sold for such a high price, just given all the wear to the hand on that one. That one sold for 122 pounds, which is $153. And you can get a near mint plus condition one, at least over here in the States, for like 125-ish, you know, thereabouts in some of the Facebook groups like Rogue 5. But that one was on like 70 grade condition and still sold for a big number at 153 US dollars. And then here was one more he had. This one was Yak Face, and this is a good disparity. This shows you how relatively inexpensive a Yak Face is over in the UK relative to what they go for over here. So I've got one in the UK and then one in the US that sold. This one was in really clean condition and sold for 405 pounds, which is 508 US dollars. And then the same, you know, for the same item in the US and in pretty similar condition based on what I could tell, sold for $632 here in the US. So pretty crazy that you're talking, what, about a 20%, 25% difference in price for the exact same item, just depending on location. So pretty wild just how expensive they are over here. Next up, we've got a Han Solo in carbonite, another last 17 figure in really, really clean condition. That one sold for 200 US dollars. Pretty fair deal, I think, on that one. Maybe a little bit of hair rub on the very top there. Hard to tell there. Let's see. You know, tough to tell by the angles, and maybe he's trying to hide the fact that it maybe had a little bit of hair rub. But if you look at this angle, it could be reflections, admittedly. So I don't know for sure, but to me, it looked like it had a little bit of hair rub on that Han Solo in carbonite for 200 bucks. Here was a Pat Blue, a very common last 17 figure. That one sold for $125. Free shipping on that one. And then finally was a Monomon. This one sold in an auction. It was advertised as mint condition, and it looked pretty clean. Again, it maybe has a little scuff right there on his ugly forehead, but otherwise pretty clean. You know, I don't know if those spots are standard for a Monomon or not. You know, it could be just standard, but it looks like it maybe has a little bit of spotting on the hand. It could be like paint overspray, who knows. But anyway, that one did sell for $281 on 15 bids. That one closed on April 28th with $8 shipping. So just kind of a nice little round, you know, example of some Polish bootlegs, some diecast, some 12-inch figures, last 17, early examples for the, you know, the first 12 figures. Just want to kind of give you an update on what they're going for, loose, complete, and ungraded. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll be back soon.